Hello, welcome. This is the Feminine Inquisition. My name is Tiffany. We're going through the Cosmic Womb Tarot. We are in the Suit of Swords. This is the back of the deck, the Cosmic Womb. The extra card in this deck is the Cosmic Womb. It is energetically charged by 6, which is external harmony. All the 6s in the deck will play a huge role. It is about a harmonization of the divine masculine and feminine as a way to gestate the many transitions, the many lives you have in this one lifetime, right? So it is a beautiful deck. My friend Alice and I are super proud, and I'm going through card by card a little bit about the significance of what the card means for us, how it plays a role in the deck, but then also some of the illustrations as they appear in other decks and the orbit of other cards that are co-creators or co-activators with the energy of whatever card I'm talking about. Okay, so today's card is the Two of Swords. We just did the Ace of Swords and we just did Libra's reading. And this card is Moon in Libra. Okay. As you can see, there is usually a woman here that's her faculties have been taken away from her. So she's blindfolded. So it suggests that she has to lean into feeling. There is a choice here, a crossroads. She has to decide which of these swords she wants. She chooses. And for the outsiders like us looking at this card, they are the same, identical. So she has to feel which one, I don't know, is heavier, is of better material, is going to give her what she's looking for, right? Whatever this particular situation is represented symbolically when it shows up in your reading. Now, working with the Two of Swords is all about how your emotions are not at the forefront of your decision making, how you've lost touch, you've lost access to your intuition, to your ability to discern what messages are coming through. You are tone deaf, right? The water that is behind you is your emotions. The moon represents your emotions, and all of it is just not, it's not helping you. There's a willful ignorance here. There's a time and place where each one of us comes into a kind of desperate situation. And it's not desperate like you're broke, you're homeless, you're strung out. And it doesn't have to be extreme like that, but just desperate like you don't know the right thing to do. You've gotten so far from your feelings on a situation, and that's not because you are guilty. That's because your nervous system was managing many other things, and it was what you needed to do to survive, to function, so that you can get up in the morning and drive every day to work, or whatever it is that your normal routines are. We have to compartmentalize sometimes, and the risks of not compartmentalizing are very dire in a civilization, in the culture that we live in, if you've got great high responsibilities for what you need to do on a day-to-day. But there are unintended consequences of, just staying in the grind, not looking at how you feel, stuffing your feelings in a place where, now the sun doesn't shine there. And then it gets so difficult to return to the secret hiding spaces, to the spots that are under the rug where you just push things. And that's when the fragmented self becomes an issue. Returning to you becomes a labyrinth, a maze. You lose you in trying to even find you. And when you find bits of you, you don't know if it's the whole story. So also this card talks about when and if we decide to ask without asking, kind of like a prayer for someone to help us make the choice, or if possibly an authority would come down and remove one of our choices, so that then it was just, the obvious, no other choice. It's very Libra-like to not be able to make a choice. So one of these swords is the seen, that which you already know, you consider known, that you identify with. And the other sword is the unseen. And so you must face them both. And so something unconscious must be faced. That's why the moon is here. It's the emotional fears, the blockages. The emotional balance of Libra is that you have to make this decision without the worry or the fear about what will be lost. This is a standstill if you stay here. This is stasis and apathy if this is a prolonged state. If you come across the Two of Swords regularly in your life or when you're dealing with someone, it talks about the paradox, right? The internal dilemmas that someone has not been able to harmonize. Because there are equal and opposite tensions that keep them in the standstill. The balance to stay in stasis is one kind of balance. The balance to make a choice is figuring out how to lean in and to feel and use discernment to choose wisely which sword you will go with. So there's a bit of a paradox here in this card. There's a bit of, like I said, willful ignorance and a bit of being torn. Swords is how you process information, how you deliver information, communication. And both of these are crossed over her heart. So while it is not the Three of Swords, which is an emotional card based on expectations, it is leading up to the Three of Swords. There is something about a sword or two swords that have crossed over the chest. They haven't yet pierced the heart. And so it's the inability to make a choice at this point to understand the trajectory from this blind state that we arrive quickly to the Three of Swords, which is a much more powerful place that can leave more damage. Okay. So I'm going to go now into some of the illustrations and the orbits of cards connected to the Two of Swords in other decks. I've got one of my favorite Two of Swords from the Tower of Mystical Moments. Look at that. So in this card, we can see exactly how burdensome it is. There is a birdhouse that lives inside her head. That's bird song. That's bird babies. That's bird shit. She can't see anything. She probably can't think anything. There's so much alive in her mind that has nothing to do with her. And she's in the woods, in the forest. So in the Tower of Mystical Moments, I believe that there are two cards that will have a say-so. But they are in the orbit in anything. I just put them together here because of their drawings. So all the twos are connected, okay? Because it's all choices. But the twos are also connected to the spiritual mother, which is the High Priestess, right? So this is the OG two in the deck. And it's the intuition that guides you, whether you can hear it or not. It's there, it's present, whether you can make out from what it is that she shows you, but she's there to help you make every decision. She is the deep knowing and the trust that's available when you come to a crossroads. And so here in the Tarot of Mystical Moments, we see her, right? Powered by the crescent moon, we see the ship. And what's important to know is that in order to be able to be open to your intuition, there is a certain level of emotional stability. Now, emotional stability is required for you to make choices, to lean into feeling, to not get thrown off course and, emotionally saturated when you're trying to make a choice. But we can see the ship ties the King of Cups to the High Priestess. And ordinarily, you wouldn't put these together, but you need to be emotionally stable to be able to hear your intuition. This is true. And the reason is that if you don't, you'll think anxiety is intuition. You think fears are intuition, and it's not. So that's a practice. Now, in the Shadowscapes, let me just show you. Here is the Two of Swords. There's the crescent. There is a woman, two swords. beautiful tree, some swans, and a heart. There is also the Two of Cups, heart. There is the Two of Pentacles, and in this deck, it's interesting because it's kind of with fire across his chest. It's like almost as if you put Temperance in a Two of Pentacles position. Right? Because if we remember that the Two of Pentacles is the ability to balance, that we are a spirit in a body, or however you want to say that, that it works for your faith system, but we have to balance the incarnate every day, the mundane of the 3D, but that our spirit is eternal. And so that's the 1 foot in, 1 foot out juggling through experience. And Temperance suggests that the wisdom of it is that we are here to have every experience. And so that way we get that guidance again for the Two of Swords. When you make a choice leaning into feeling and knowing it, rather than worrying about the loss of what choice you didn't take, so that you don't stay in that position in a stasis. Now, I'll save the best for last. There's one more after this one. This is the Three of Swords, and this we know, I've already explained how it can easily, we can succumb to this position, this energy, if we stay too long in the Two of Swords of indecision. And indecision of anything, right? It doesn't have to be matters of the heart. Anytime that you prolong the inevitable, you prolong facing something, you prolong going through what you feel about a situation or taking a choice, life doesn't stop because you're taking a pause. Choices will be made, but they won't be at your hand. So the Three of Swords is something that can come by way of your stagnation, but also from other people having a say-so. Okay? Now, last but not least, how important it is to know that the devil has a handle on our fears, our heart, the unknown, our anxieties, our wishes, our obsessions, our temptations. And so when we're in that position of the Two of Swords to take a choice, the devil will have an opportunity, a small window to creep in with doubt, with anxiety, with pressure, with loss, with fear, with all sorts of ways in which we are rejecting ourselves, abandoning ourselves. So, that is kind of some of the ways in which the cards are illustrated, drawn, and or connected to other cards. This has been Moon in Libra, the Two of Swords. The cards, of course, have been digitized. This is not the size of the cards. They have been enhanced, borders, numbers, and astrological glyphs. This is the back of the deck. This is the Cosmic Womb Tarot. This is the Feminine Inquisition. I'm Tiffany. Like, share, comment, subscribe. You're welcome to pre-order, and we'll be shipping as of October. Ciao.